The Ozempic doesn't burn any calories. It's about controlling your hunger.
Ozempic. It's everywhere. Celebrities are using it, social media is buzzing about it, and people are calling it a miracle weight loss drug. But here's the truth. Ozempic works by mimicking something your body can already do if you eat the right foods. Dr. Jason Fung isn't your typical doctor. A nephrologist and best-selling author, he's known for breaking down the complex links between diet, hormones, and metabolic health. His book, The Obesity Code, shook up the weight loss world by showing that obesity is tied more to insulin and hormonal imbalances than just willpower or calories. Instead of the usual diet rules, Dr. Fung promotes intermittent fasting as a way to reset the body and achieve lasting weight loss.
The lesson it's teaching you about weight loss is that it's not about controlling the calories, because the Ozempic doesn't burn any calories. It's about controlling your hunger. It's about that one level deeper. Why are you taking so many calories? So if you simply reduce the hunger, you're going to naturally eat fewer calories, which is going to cause weight loss. And that's what this Ozempic does. It really reduces your appetite to very low level.
Let's quickly break down how Ozempic works, because once you understand it, you'll see why these foods are so powerful. Ozempic is a fancy GLP-1 agonist term. I know. What it really means is, it slows digestion, controls blood sugar, and suppresses appetite. When your insulin stays low and steady, your body finally taps into fat for fuel. Now here's the kicker. Dr. Jason Fung has been teaching for years that insulin is the hormone that locks fat away. High insulin equals fat storage. Low insulin equals fat burning.
The amount of body fat that we carry is regulated much like a thermostat. That is, when the amount of body fat goes too high, then our body actually secretes hormones to bring it back down to normal. It's really not based on calories, it's based on hormones, such as insulin, which is what we talked about in my book, The Obesity Code. Now, insulin is a hormone that raises that body fat thermostat so that you carry more body fat. But there are also hormones that bring it back down. And the incretins are one of those groups of hormones, of which there's several, but the main ones are GLP-1 and GIP.
So let's go through the top 3 foods that mimic Ozempic's fat-burning power. Quick note before we start. This video is for education only and isn't medical advice. If you're managing health issues or considering changes to your diet, fasting, or lifestyle, please check with your doctor first. Your health is personal, so make choices that are right for you. Number 1. Healthy fat foods.
If you take carbohydrates as opposed to dietary fat, then the increase in the incretins is much lower. In this study, for example, they looked at soup and they paired it either with 50 grams of carbohydrates or butter or olive oil, and they measured how high the GLP-1 spiked afterwards, and they also looked at GIP. But you can see that both types of dietary fat really raise the incretins much higher, the GLP-1. A very similar study in 2007 showed that if you replace carbohydrates with fat, you get the same expected decrease in insulin, which is good because insulin drives the storage of fat, but you also get this higher level of GLP-1.
Let's talk about dietary fats, especially the healthy kind, like the monounsaturated fats you find in olive oil and avocados. Here's the key difference. When you eat carbs, especially refined ones like bread or sugar, your body responds with a big insulin spike. Insulin's job is to take that sugar out of your bloodstream and store it usually as fat. That's why carb-heavy meals often lead to fat gain over time. Now compare that to dietary fats. When you eat monounsaturated fats, something totally different happens. Instead of spiking insulin, these fats keep it low and steady. And when insulin is low, your body gets a very different signal. We're not in fat storage mode anymore, we're in fat burning mode. Think of it like flipping a switch. High insulin flips the switch toward storage and your body locks fat away. Low insulin flips it toward burning. Your body taps into its fat reserves for energy. This is why the Mediterranean diet, which is loaded with olive oil, nuts, and avocados, has been shown to help people lose weight and protect against heart disease. It's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter, choosing foods that don't push insulin through the roof. So when you drizzle olive oil on your salad or slice half an avocado onto your eggs, you're not just adding flavor, you're literally telling your body, it's okay, we've got steady fuel. You can burn fat now. And that's exactly the same pathway that drugs like Ozempic try to mimic.
Something that's cooked vegetables, avocado.
Number 2, protein-packed foods.
Protein is really important to help rebuild your body. Your body needs protein. So there are certain amino acids, which are the breakdown products of protein, that we need. If we don't get it, we're not going to be healthy. So it's very important that we get enough protein.
Now let's talk about protein-rich foods, because when it comes to natural appetite control, protein is king. Here's why. When you eat protein, whether it's eggs, chicken, fish, or even beans, your stomach breaks it down into amino acids. These amino acids aren't just building blocks for muscle, they actually send a powerful signal to your gut. In your small intestine, there are special cells called L cells. When those amino acids arrive, the L cells release two really important hormones, GLP-1 and peptide YY. And here's the cool part. Those are the exact same hormones that drugs like Ozempic try to mimic. What do? They slow down digestion, so food stays in your stomach longer, and they tell your brain, hey, you're satisfied, you don't need more food right now. The result? You feel full for hours, cravings go way down, and you naturally eat less without forcing yourself.
Very lean meats like chicken breast and stuff are going to be higher in protein. Protein also increases the satiety. That is, when you eat foods that are high in protein, you tend to feel more full. Just like if you were to eat eggs and bacon in the morning.
That's why people who prioritize protein at meals often find weight loss so much easier. Number 3, fiber-rich foods.
You put a lot of fiber in it. Well, instead of having this huge spike in insulin, what you're going to get is a much slower spike in insulin.
Most people don't give fiber a second thought, and that's a big mistake. Fiber is one of the simplest, most effective tools you have for taming hunger and supporting fat loss. Here's the deal. Fiber works in two powerful ways. First, it boosts the production of GLP-1, the satiety hormone that drugs like Ozempic are designed to copy. In other words, when you eat fiber-rich foods, your body naturally makes more of the hormones that slow digestion and help you feel full. Second, fiber literally takes longer to break down. It adds bulk to your meals, slows down the release of sugar into your bloodstream, and keeps food in your stomach longer. The result? Steady energy that lasts for hours and far fewer cravings between meals.
Fiber reaches the colon, and it gets fermented by the gut microbiome to short-chain fatty acids, or SCFA, and these are things like acetate butyrate propionate. And these interact with free fatty acid receptors 2 and 3 to boost GLP secretion.
That's why foods like leafy greens, beans, lentils, chia seeds, and flax seeds are so powerful. They don't just fill you up in the moment, they keep you satisfied well into the afternoon or evening.
You can also take some say water with chia seed. It's got a little bit of fiber just to start getting the process going. Beans, and if you're eating whole grains, for example, compared to others, then it's going to have a reduction in the speed of absorption.
So next time you build your plate, don't just focus on protein and fat. Make room for fiber too. Think of it as nature's built-in appetite control. No pills, no gimmicks, just real food doing its job.
So again, if you eat more fiber, you're getting a bit of a double whammy effect. That is, the fiber is going to be bulkier. So therefore, it's going to increase those stretch receptors in the stomach. It's harder for the fiber to go through. It doesn't go through as quickly, for example, as white flour, which is going to go directly through the small intestine, directly into the bloodstream, shoot up that glucose. The fiber is bigger, it's bulkier, it's harder to move physically, so it's going to slow things right down, and then it's going to increase satiety by the time it gets to the colon.
If you want to burn fat the natural way, start adding these foods to your daily routine. And here's the exciting part. When you combine them with intermittent fasting, the results can be incredible. Dr. Jason Fung's work proves this over and over again. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more science-backed fat loss tips, and drop a comment below. Which of these foods do you already eat, and which one are you going to try this week? I read every single comment, and I'll see you in the next video.